Hi you guys, today I'm going to show you how to make this deep, dark gingerbread loaf, gluten-free of course. It's dense, it's moist, and it's intensely flavored with blackstrap molasses, ginger, cinnamon, and cloves. It's also optionally topped with a simple cream cheese icing, although I'd say the icing is not an option, but a must. It's beyond easy to make, so let's get into it and I'll show you how to make it. I have 2¼ cups plus 2 teaspoons or 333 grams of my gluten-free all-purpose flour blend here. And I'm adding to that 3/4 teaspoon of salt and then 1½ teaspoons of baking soda, a tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon, and 3/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. And I'll just give this a quick whisk and then set it aside for adding later. I'll add 1 cup plus 1½ teaspoons or 220 grams of packed dark brown sugar to a large bowl. And I'm just going to give this a quick mix to break up any of the big lumps. And then I'll add a cup plus 2¼ teaspoons or 340 grams of unsulfured blackstrap molasses. The brand I found is Plantation brand. I got it at Walmart, I think. But there are also other brands out there, like I think Brer Rabbit is one, and a few others that I can't think of off the top of my head. But make sure to get blackstrap. That's what makes this so different than traditional gingerbread. It's supposedly a French gingerbread, but I guess I Americanized it with the cream cheese icing. I'll stream in a cup or 215 grams of any neutral oil. I'm using vegetable oil here. If you do it all at once, it won't like homogenize, so make sure to do it slowly. And then I'll give this a good mix before adding in 2 eggs, one at a time, beating just until each one disappears. If you don't have the scraper blade like I do, now would be a good time to stop the mixer and scrape down the sides and bottom. I'm going to add the dry ingredients and a few additions just so everything doesn't go flying everywhere. My on-off switch is loosening up just a little bit, so it's making it much easier to add dry ingredients. Thank God. All right, we already have a pretty runny batter, but now we're going to slowly stream in 1¼ cups plus 2½ tablespoons or 336 grams of boiling water. Y'all, I gotta say, I offer my recipes in volume measurements as well, at least the ones that aren't yeast spreads, because yeast spreads are very particular and I just won't offer them in anything but metric. But how much easier is it to just use a scale and scale out 336 grams versus trying to scale out trying to measure 1¼ cups plus 2½ tablespoons in volume measurements. Just saying. I'm streaming this in very slowly, about 60 grams at a time, and that's a 1/4 cup for those of you who still can't get behind the metric system. And the batter will be quite thin. That is perfectly normal. If you think you did something wrong, nope. So off the mixer, I'm adding in the zest of 1 lemon, but I've also done this using the zest of 1 orange. Both are equally delicious, so it's really just a matter of personal preference. I only used the orange one time because I didn't have any more lemons and I had an orange and I wasn't about to go to the store just for 1 lemon. This is an 8½ by 4½ inch Pullman pan because I like my loaves really tall. I apologize for the squeaking in the background. That is my dog trying to get me to play with him because I am the only person here. So he has to make noise because it's quiet. I'm going to pipe a softened, or try to be softened. It wasn't softened because I completely forgot about it. So I'm making do here, but I just put like, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon of butter into a piping bag. You can also use a like Ziploc bag. And I'm piping a line of softened butter down the middle. And that's to allow it to split open right down the center. And you'll be amazed that this actually works, y'all. I'm going to bake this at 325 F for 1 hour and 20 minutes to 1 hour and 30 minutes, or until the top springs back and a skewer inserted into the center comes out clean or with just a very tiny amount of moist crumbs attached. This one has been out of the oven for 10 minutes now. So I'm going to remove it from the pan and then peel away the parchment and let it cool completely on the wire rack. See how perfectly that top split open? It is so soft and moist, y'all. You are gonna love it. If you love gingerbread flavored anything, you're gonna love this one, I promise. So to make the glaze or icing or whatever you want to call it, start with 4 ounces or 113 grams of softened cream cheese and a 1/4 cup or 56 grams of softened butter, and just give these a quick mix. And then add in 94 grams of sifted powdered sugar and about a teaspoon of vanilla, give or take. And then I'll stream in about 2 tablespoons of milk and see where I'm at. I want almost a glaze instead of a frosting. I don't know, kind of in between a glaze and a frosting, something that will almost drip down the sides, but not quite, like something that's going to be a little thicker on top. And I think I'm going to stop here. But if you want it thinner, just add another tablespoon of milk and then see where you're at. And without the glaze and the butter line, y'all, this cake is dairy-free if you use a dairy-free option for my flour blend, or if you use a store-bought dairy-free flour blend. But if you don't need to be dairy-free and want to gild the lily a bit, add the cream cheese glaze. It is heavenly, y'all. Kind of makes the cake similar to what Starbucks used to sell years ago. I just love the deep, rich, like just a tiny bit bitter flavor of this gingerbread. That's from the blackstrap molasses, and it's perfectly sweet though, especially if you add the glaze. And this one is straight out of the fridge because that's the way I like it. So it's super dense and very moist. It's almost pound cake like, and it tastes like Christmas. Enjoy.